Hey everybody, it's Brad at Select Roses. We're finally doing the climbing video that you wanted to see. There's a lot of myths about pruning climbing roses, so we're going to spend a bit of time telling you about pruning the climbers. The first one we're going to do is a favorite red of mine called Red Corsair. It's bred in Germany by the famous Cordes nursery. It's a very hardy plant. It blooms fantastic, bright red blooms that never fade. They last on the plant, the first flush, a good 2 months. You deadhead it and you get a pile more blooms again. So the first thing we're looking at is how the plant overwintered. You see I've left all the hips on it. We didn't take any of those off, and that's what helps tell the rose to go to dormancy in the winter. And now's the time of the year it's starting to sprout. And you can see if you look deep into the plant here, some of the nice fresh canes that came last year, and then you see the old silverwood deep into the plant. That's the older canes, and I'll be pruning those ones out. The other thing we're going to do, since this is growing on the fence, we want to maximize our bloom. The way to maximize the bloom is to bend the shoots over. And you notice this cane that's been bent over here has the side laterals coming up, and the side laterals are what carries the bloom. So I'm just going to show you very quickly on this. We would just nip these side laterals back. We take off where the rose hips are. We're shortening them down a few inches. We're going to where there's a bud. Just like that. The little end will nip across there. We're going to take this one off. Now we're going to have roses all along the shoot here. The other thing we'll do after we've thinned out the deadwood, we'll tie these shoots in closer to the fence, and we'll be topping this plant off so it's only maybe 12 inches above the top of the fence. If you would like on your climbers, you can leave some of the low wood here and you'll have a lot of blooms produced low down on the plant. But this is an area where my father has to pass by with the mower, and he hates when we leave these out here catching them. So anything like this, we're going to go in about 12 inches and take the wood out. I would say when we're finished with this plant, we'll have removed 50% of the wood, and it will still bloom fantastic. End of May through June, through July, it'll take a little break, then it's going to bloom nice again in the fall. So we'll come back in a few minutes and show you the finished product. Hello gardening friends, Brad at Select Roses. So here we are at the plant of Red Corsair that we started to prune. You can see the amount of bud wood that we've left down below. We're getting rid, and there's a pile of it over there. We've probably taken out 1/3 of the plant. There's a few more things we're going to do. Some of the branches are still leaning out a little bit too far, so we'll just nip these back like that. We've cut out the deadwood completely, and we've tied in some of the softer canes from this year. There's a couple more canes that we want to tie in. If you look over at this one here, it does have a tie on it, but we're going to bring this in a little bit further. Before we do that, we're being stopped by some old deadwood here. So we'll cut that piece out down at the ground. There's another small piece back there. So in a few minutes, we'll tie this one in. You see the laterals that are coming up here. There's 3 big laterals. We've already trimmed those back probably at least 1 foot. This also, by bending this cane in, gives us room to take this soft cane. We'll bend this one in, and we're going to leave it just about on an angle like that. By doing that, we'll get at least double the amount of bloom production on that cane, just by tilting it like that. I'm going to leave a couple of them in the middle of the plant because I know these are well branched and we'll have a nice bloom formation on those. And after it's all tied in, I might go along and take off just a few where we have some double laterals here and there. We might do a little bit more thinning out, pieces like that. And that's your climber pruned, ready to bloom.